All right. Fantastic. Welcome, everybody, to this month's March and for our God Super PAC Town Hall meeting. I'm your host tonight, Casey Salgi. So glad to have you all with us. I would like for us to get started off with Pastor Augie leading us in a prayer before we get started. Pastor Augie, if you're there.
Yes,
Awesome,
yes, yes.
sir. Take it
Thank,
away.
thank you, Lord Jesus. Lord, we welcome your presence. We thank you, Lord, for all that have joined and all those that will be joining as we get started. We welcome your presence to guide our thoughts, our conversations, everything that we hear, speak, and experience. We thank you, Lord, for God's Super PAC. We desire, Lord, to honor you by making a way through us as vessels of honor, sanctified, fit for the Master's use. So we could be channels of your presence affecting this nation and nations of the world, and that you would bring about unity in the body of Christ, that you'll bless us financially so that we can be a blessing to all the different causes, Lord, that we've dedicated ourselves to. Bless our brother Casey. Bless all those that are listening in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it very much as always. So happy to have you all here. Just a quick check to make sure that you can see the God Super PAC splash screen. Thumbs up if you can. Excellent. Thank you very much. And let's get into it. So a lot of great things going on in God Super PAC land. One of the things I always like to start with is letting some folks in here. Is starting off with our spiritual mission, and that is to unite and mobilize 210 million Christians to be able to restore faith-driven values in American governance through an innovative donor referral engagement platform. I say that every start to every meeting because I want folks to, if I happen to show up and rustle you out of bed at 3 a.m, I want you to be able to recite this. I want you to always remember that's what we're here to do. And when we keep the main thing, all sorts of good things happen. So that is a great vision that was given to us by our founder and treasurer, Mr. Bob Widener. And I love being able to share that. It's a very powerful statement. Our agenda for tonight, similar to what you've seen in the past, we'll go over some accomplishments, including infrastructure items, money donated from February, recognition. We'll talk about our charity that we're going to be supporting for the month of March. The New Year kickoff campaign, that contest has come to an end. So we're going to talk about some results, have a little training in there for you, followed by a call to action. So with that, let's jump right on in and discuss our accomplishments. So first thing that we've got, if you have looked lately in your back office, you will notice on the main homepage of the back office that some reporting is starting to actually report instead of giving a bunch of goose eggs showing that you haven't brought anybody in, especially Miss Joanne. She's happy about that because she's been bringing in so many people. She calls me every time. It's like, still zero. I'm just kidding. She hasn't called me on that, but she's been thinking it real loud. So kudos to Mac for helping us get that sorted out with our provider, with our Trinity software. So that's a lot of moving parts to make all that work, and we're fixing them as we get to them. So that's fantastic. So hopefully you'll start seeing that report, and then it'll go from this month onward. So happy to report on that. We've got a couple of other things in the work. So coming soon, I was actually able to work with our spiritual leader, Pastor Augie David, who opened us in prayer a few minutes ago. And we have a pretty cool recording that we were able to capture, and a lot of great back and forth on what we will have as a video once it's done being edited down. And this will be something that you can share with your pastors, with anybody in the church, to be able to speak to them at a biblical level on what it is that we're doing with God Super PAC and why it would be a great idea for them to not only bring their church on board, but to reach out to their fellow pastors and bring them on board into God Super PAC for all the things that we're doing and going to be doing. So that is soon to come. Excited about that. And good Lord was definitely speaking through Pastor Augie, and that it was pretty awesome. We got done and he just looked at me and I looked at him and was like, that was awesome. He said, did you get it all? I was like, I got it all. So it was very good. So excited to see that come out. Pastor Augie, what do you think about that?
Brother, the presence of God was upon us so much, especially the last few minutes was amazing.
Yeah. You want to talk about getting in the flow. It was spectacular. So excited to be able to share that with everybody. We've also got we had a meeting here about a week ago, and we're working on, Bob Widener has decided to put some more money into this and be able to get the text messaging. So what that's going to be is when a new warrior or donor comes online, the idea is to be able to send a message to everybody in the donor referral network from that person on up to inform you that somebody has come on board. And not only that they come on board, who it is, what their name is, what their phone number is, what their email is. So that'll give everybody an opportunity for one, to be informed without having to go into your back office. Two, to be able to welcome the new warrior or new donor and let them know that we appreciate them, let them know that we're here for them. So that's going to be a great tool in our toolkit, and we'll just keep adding things like this. So that's super exciting. And once I get some idea of timelines, I'll be able to report more on that. But I did want to share that with everybody. And then another thing that's in the works is planning has commits, excuse me, for our first ever God Super PAC convention. So we're working on the details on that. This is very preliminary, but some of the vision just to share. Nobody write this down on a piece of paper or anything just yet. We're working on it. But we're looking to do something in the Dallas area, Dallas, Texas area, and looking for maybe somewhere in the September timeframe. So we'll be able to get a lot more information on a venue, what that looks like. But with Pastor Augie being there, with Brad being there, with Bob Widener being there, a lot of networking, with Jenny being there, a lot of networking in the area to be able to work on that. So more to come on that as well. But some exciting things going on, a lot of big plans in place while we're doing what we're doing as a big network. So super excited to give a report out on that. Next up is on our accomplishment side. What did we do with LifeWise Academy? We are going to be writing a check to them for $433, which is a big deal, folks. Whenever you give to these organizations, anything over $100 catches a lot of attention with these organizations. This helps out a lot. And with us being over 4 times what they normally would get for a big donation, this is a big deal. And then hearing them come back to us, I'm going to have some work done with Mac in the back office to show on our accomplishments. Some of the thank you notes that we're getting handwritten thank you notes. We're getting, the emails that are coming, but folks are really appreciating what it is that we're doing. I was reading the one for Song from Charlie, and it's just so heartfelt for them to be able to see what it is that we're being able to offer to them. And it's a great thing. So just know that what we're doing is making a difference as we are just getting this thing kicked off and starting to grow. It's really great to be able to see that this is going to the causes that we're wanting to be able to support, this one specifically, and getting God back into schools. So that's one of our main focus areas, and this is delivering on that promise. So congratulations to you all and to the whole organization for your donations and where that's going. So fantastic work there, everybody. Another thing I want to report in on is our growth. We had 18% growth month over month in the month of February. That is fantastic work by everybody. I obviously want to see that continue to grow. And as everybody gets more and more comfortable and we bring more and more folks on, we want to be able to see that number keep growing as well, which means it will be harder. We'll have more people, but you got to keep that same percentages going, which means that we're going to start seeing some exponential come out of this. So keep up that good work, and very excited to see the growth that we've had since the beginning of the year. Looking at our recognition for the 2 things that we check in on, right, is most, we go out and we gather a handful of loyal donors, people we know, love, and trust. So that's what we personally sponsor. And the winner for that for the month of February was Miss Joanne Faircloth, with 6 new people coming into the organization. That is fantastic effort, and just really excited about her being able to pull that off. Tim and Rich Schloss, Tim Ollinger and Rich Schloss as partners brought on 3 folks. Miss Peggy Rudolph also brought in 3. Myself and David Daniel, we brought in 2, and Michael Board also brought in 2. So great work from a lot of folks in the organization getting out there and spreading the word about what we do. And that's how we grow this organization is, sharing it with the people that we know, love, and trust. So congratulations to everybody on this list. And with that, I would like to invite Miss Joanne Faircloth to be able to say a few words about what has been working for her and what she's been able to do and why it's working so good. 6 is an awesome number. So, Miss Joanne, if you are able to, please let me know that you can say something there so I can hear you.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. All right, take it away, Miss Joanne.
Well, thank you so much, Casey. Well, so let's see. Casey Salgi brought this to me in, I guess, October of 2024. And it was, you know, I looked at the mission and I thought, wow, is this really something that we could do? And the more I looked at it, the more I thought, well, we always say somebody needs to do something about fentanyl abuse, about child trafficking. Somebody has to do this. And then I thought, wait a minute, I'm given the opportunity for $9.95 a month to actually take ownership and participate and do something. And that was it for me. So basically, and that's how I share it with everybody else, is the fact that instead of saying somebody needs to do something, here we are, we're given this opportunity to do something. So we have to grab it, we have to join it, and we have to go forward. And that's basically for me. It's the passion that something has to be done. I mean, right here in my own neighborhood, all of this is happening, and it's so sad. So I am so happy to be having been given the opportunity to participate. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Joanne. Really appreciate all your efforts, and you've been a major contributing factor in our organization. Not only just from being what we like to call a sponsor monster. There's not a person that's going to cross her path that's not going to hear this. But then, in addition to it, she does step 2, which is help others do the same thing. And that's one of the great things about Miss Joanne, is that it's not just about her bringing folks in, but then she takes them underneath their wing and she helps them and helps their people and helps their people help their people. And that's what it's all about. So thank you so much, Joanne. Really appreciate your awesome words and sharing a little bit about what God Super PAC's done for you and why you're involved. So fantastic, fantastic work. All right, let's move on to our next item, and that is most donation money raised out of the 8 levels of your Warrior Network. Oh, I missed another one. I meant to change that to February. So instead of January, that should say February. That's my miss. You'll see a little bit of shuffling on the leaderboard. Still got Brad Parkhill in number 1. We're coming for him, which is kind of funny because it's hard to do because Brad has everybody in the organization. But here's how we dethrone Mr. Parkhill, and there would be nothing that would make him happier. And that is, our organization has to get deeper, because this always looks at 8 levels, right? That's what our payout plan does. It looks at those 8 levels, and that's how you got to do it. You got to build beyond that. You got to get your organization to 8 levels, which would be outside of Brad's 8 levels. And as that continues to grow, there will be others that are going to do that. But Brad is winning that because Brad was the first one on this thing. Imagine starting with absolutely nobody in the organization. Imagine the vision that it takes that you've got to have to be able to say, I'm the only guy in this thing right now. I have to start. I'm the first one. So congratulations to him, because everybody that's in this thing had to start from somewhere, and he's the guy that begot that guy that begot that guy that started the whole thing. So congratulations to him for being top of that leaderboard and continuing. You've got myself and David Daniel as the second one there for Double Bird Ventures, Scott in 3rd, Michael Board in 4th, Steve Martinez in 5th. So we're seeing some shuffling in the board. That means there's a lot of activity going on, and that is a beautiful thing. So keep up the wonderful work, everybody. Fun to have that recognition, but I do want to say to everyone that anybody can get on this list and anybody can stay on this list, but everything that everybody does builds what we're doing in God's Super PAC. And while this is fun to be able to recognize people, every single person in here is adding to this organization, whether it's 1 or it's 50. So keep doing what you're doing. Every bit helps, every bit counts. If you feel that you can do more, do so, feel called to do so. But please understand that every bit of it makes a big difference, and we appreciate you all. On to the next. So what are we going? So we just finished up with LifeWise. We talked about that last month. Let's talk about what we're going to point all of our firepower for God Super PAC towards in March. So we're mid-month. We've been working towards this with the folks that are in. We want to add more people to the organization so that we can support these. This month is to go towards the Tim Tebow Foundation. It's committed to bringing the light of Christ into some darkest places by fighting to end child sex trafficking. Tim Tebow's foundation does several things, but this is one of their major tenets and one that has a lot of visibility. And we wanted to be able to support that organization. We did our research on them and very happy with what we saw. So through prevention, rescue, long-term survival care, the foundational partners with law enforcement and trusted organizations to protect vulnerable children, rescue those being exploited, and help survivors heal and rebuild their lives. One thing I want to call out on that I thought that just really stuck with me is they're not just talking about it. They're literally going out there and saving these people directly. Like, that's pretty cool. These are rescue operations that they're actually putting together, not just waiting on someone else to go do something. That's pretty powerful. And I like that a lot. This mission is rooted in faith, compassion, and the belief that every child is seen, valued, and worth fighting for. If you want to see some more information on that, I put a link on this, and this will be available to everybody. So you can go take a look at that or just do a simple search. You'll find it. It's a great website. Got a lot of good information in there about what that organization does. And we're very happy to have God Super PAC be able to support this organization towards one of our main focus areas, which is ending child sex trafficking. So excited to be a part of this and do some good works here. So you've heard it mentioned already, but here's the slide also that I like to always bring your attention to, because we want to keep the main thing the main thing. And here's how we keep the main thing the main thing, by doing these 2 simple things. And that is gather a handful of loyal donors, people we know, love, and trust. And step 2 is help other warriors do the same thing. So we called out some recognition for that. And we also had a spotlight on these 2 steps for our New Year kickoff campaign that just came to an end last month. We had a 2-month cycle for this contest. We went from New Year's Day to the end of February. It's crazy that it's already St. Patty's Day and we're middle of the way through March. It's going fast. But we wanted to reward the outcomes for those 2 things that we do, which is most personally sponsored warriors donors, and then most donation money raised in your 8 levels. And so for that, we talked about last month, we recognized for January. And then for February, Miss Joanne, as you heard from earlier, had 6 personally sponsored warriors. So she led the charts for that. So congratulations. You win yourself a 5-day, 4-night cruise vacation voucher. That's good for up to $1,000 retail price, which is very awesome. We're going to get your information over to Mac Solomon McCluster. He's going to be the guy that's going to get that information over to you. So I'm going to be forwarding that information to him, and he'll be contacting you via email. If you don't get that by the end of next week, please reach out to me directly and we'll make sure that that happens. And then congratulations to Mr. Parkhill for also winning in February. And then we had a combination, and here's an example of how somebody came in at the end, won February, and then won the whole contest. So congratulations to Miss Joanne for 9 personally sponsored in the contest period. She beat us by 2, so I was a little frustrated, but the fact she's in my organization, I had to be very happy for her. But I am competitive, so well done, well earned. To Miss Joanne, and as a result of that, she also wins an 8-day, 7-night vacation, and that's good for $5,400. That is some pretty serious prizes that Mr. Mack was able to secure for our organization and for this contest. So super excited for our winners on the entire contest. Again, just a good, friendly competition to get the outcomes that we're looking for, rewarding folks for doing the thing that we're here to do. And it's those 2 simple things: gathering a handful of loyal donors, people we know, love, and trust, and helping others do the same thing. So congratulations to all our winners, to Dave, myself, Brad, Joanne. congratulations to everybody for your efforts on this. So couldn't be prouder of what we've accomplished in such a short period of time. All right, let's get into some training. So this is going to be a little different than what I've done in the past. I'm going to preface this by I am no Pastor Augie. I am not even an amateur on the Bible compared to others in the organization, but I wanted to do this a little different. I wanted to tie it in a little bit more to some biblical items. I wanted to talk about how we go from conviction to action. Everybody here has joined. Everybody that's watching this is either joined or is thinking about joining if they're watching the recording. And one of the most important things that we do is, as Joanne talked about it as well, didn't want to just talk about it, didn't want to just talk about somebody should do something about this thing. It's how do we go from that conviction that, yes, something needs to be done to actually doing something. So how do everyday believers fund godly change is the topic for tonight. So let's jump in. I've got some good slides on this, and I think you'll enjoy it. So first one that I want to talk about is the biblical call to act. So I did some research on this, dug in a little bit, and you've all seen this before. Faith is proven by action, not intention. There's a little quote, James 2:17, that says, faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. So the teaching point that comes out of that, belief without obedience produces no fruit. You all are here for a reason. That didn't happen by magic. It didn't happen just on a whim. There's a process, there's a plan, and here we are. Now that you see that, you need to obey that. You need to actually do that, and you need to move forward with that. That's what it calls out to be done. And so it's important that we actually take action on this. Something that happens a lot is people will get in here and say, look, I'm not a salesperson. I've never done anything like this. I really don't know what I'm supposed to say. I don't know how I'm supposed to go about doing this. And the deal is on this is God constantly works through willing people, not perfect ones, not the ones that have it all figured out and have been doing this for 50 years. They're going to work through the folks that are willing, right? And so it's important to consider that. There's multiple examples, Moses, Esther, Nehemiah, all these folks. God uses availability more than ability. I don't want anybody to think when they join God's Super PAC that you have to have some super magical powers or be, something that you don't already possess. Every single person that joins this organization can become what would be considered a rock star in this organization simply by getting out of the way and letting the good Lord work through you. And so consistency is what is most important. Silence in critical moments is a decision. The choice to not do something. Joanne also spoke to this. It's like she saw my training, but she didn't see my training. Silence. And I've said this as well. One of my big moving points of why I got in is the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. That's saying it just another way. If you keep silent at this time, relief and deliverance will rise from another place. Esther 4:14. If you have seen this and you don't go tell others, what does that say about you? I've used this quote before. Joanne will laugh about this too, and some of you will as well, who've seen different trainings I've done. If you had the cure to cancer and you kept it to yourself, what does that say about you? You've got your hands on something that divinely touched. Truly, I have never seen anything like what we have our hands on. But just because it's amazing, it doesn't just sit there and magically work on its own. It takes you all. It takes me. It takes us to all go out there and actually open our mouth, talk to others, and share this. So if you're doing silence and you're doing that in those critical moments when you have a moment to reach out to somebody, that is a decision. So God's purposes will move forward. The question is whether we are going to participate. Are we going to be obedient to that? Next one up is stewardship is broader than money. Everything we have is entrusted, not owned. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time for sure. But let's make sure we're understanding that we don't own any of this. And that includes 1 Corinthians, let me move this out of the way just a little bit. 4:2. Teaching point here is time, relationships, influences, resources, all are part of that stewardship. And again, stewardship doesn't mean that we own it. It means that we're entrusted with it. We're not going to be here forever, but the things that we do can live on beyond us if we would get out there and actually look at it from that perspective. The influence that we're given, we're accountable for what we do with it. To whom much is given, much will be required. That's Luke 12:48. In addition to that, Uncle Ben in Spider-Man said, with great responsibility comes great power, right? Or with great power comes great responsibility. I spoke of the other quote a little bit earlier. Only thing necessary for evil to triumph is good men to do nothing. All of those say the same thing, that we have been entrusted. We have been giving a lot of items. What are we doing with it? If you have influence and it's unused, that influence is wasted. God multiplies faithful stewardship. The parable of the talents, right? Some of those servants were given a little bit more, and a whole lot. Some of them went out and doubled it. Some of them buried it because of fear and didn't do anything with it. The ones that went out and did it were rewarded. And that's what we're here for. So God's going to reward the faithfulness, not for comfort. Is it odd talking to somebody about this? It can be. Or could you look at it and say, you know what? This isn't about me. I'm the steward of this. It's not about what I'm going to get out of this. It's what's going to happen with it. So why does God Super PAC exist? God works corporately, not individually, and not corporately as we sometimes will say, oh, that's a corporate thing. But from a perspective of it's not just you and I in this thing. It's all of us together. Ecclesiastes 4:12, though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of three strands is not quickly broken. Every single person that we add to this organization makes us stronger. And if each of us just does a little bit, a whole lot's going to happen. A lot of times we get into something like this and we think we got to go out and get 100 people or 200 people. Start with one and add one, and that person adds one. If everybody in the organization this month from previous month, if everybody goes and gets one, our organization will double, which means the money we bring in will double, which means the money that we send to the Tim Tebow organization will double. That's if everybody just got one. Joanne got six. Joanne got six in like the last 4 days of the month. I don't know what she was doing the other 3 weeks, but man, imagine if she really would have got to work. I'm just playing, Joanne. She kicked some butt on that last week, right? She brought in six. What if everybody brought in six? That'd be something else. So the teaching point here is unity multiplies impact. Don't think that one person doesn't change the world. If everybody keeps that vantage point, it will. Small acts unified in obedience moves history. Think about the early church as it was sharing resources in Acts. They shared everything. Anything that they needed, they would share that. What are we doing? We're taking a small amount and we're spreading it around to be able to do a lot of good. And everybody's just putting in a little bit. That's the beauty of what we have. Nobody's having to come in here and put hundreds and thousands of dollars involved in this. Bob did to get it started. But the rest of us, we're putting in less than $10 and sharing those resources. Imagine what that can do. And if more will do that. Movements begin when believers align around a purpose. That's what we're here for. We've got a very clear purpose. I started the whole presentation off with that purpose. And what is that? To unite 210 million people. That's hard to get your head wrapped around when we don't have more than 300 people in the organization ever. Imagine when it's got a comma in the number of people. Imagine when it's 5 digits to the number of people we have. Imagine when it's 100,000, 1 million, 10 million. 100 million. Where does it start? With everybody doing small acts, unified in obedience, we will move history. It's not about politics either. It's about protection. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Proverbs 31:8. Advocacy for righteousness is biblical. The organizations that we support is to help those that cannot speak for themselves. That's what we're here to do. That's why God Super PAC exists. So what's your role as a warrior in this? Identity before activity. You are called before you are sent. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you. John 15:16. Participation is not accidental. You are not here as some cosmic mistake. One thing led to another that led to another. Brad had to talk to somebody for us to get to where we're at. That person had to talk to Pastor Augie. Brad had to talk to Casey Salgi. Casey Salgi had to talk to Michael, had to talk to Joanne. Joanne talked to this person, that person talked to this person, that person. And you start looking at the web of what that will lead. That's my second Spider-Man reference too, by the way. Imagine how that continues to spread out through history. Warriors lead relationally, not transactionally. That is so important. Jesus called on the disciples by relationship. He had a personal relationship with them. Have personal relationship with your warriors. It's not about 995. It's not about the money that they can make. It's about the good works that we can do together as warriors, people that we know, love, and trust. So movement spread through trust, not pressure. This is not a hard sell. This is a share it with them. We do not convince, we invite. One of the simplest quotes in the Bible, John 1:46, come and see. They invited the guy to come and see what they're talking about. And guess what happened? He saw it for himself and he came to Christ. Invitation honors free will and faith. And when they see it themselves, then they're going to share that message. So a simple, repeatable kingdom model. Pray first. What did we do today? Pastor Augie kicked us off in prayer. Every time I sit with Pastor Augie in anything, we don't talk about anything until he prays over us. We don't do a recording of a video until he prays over us. We don't start our Monday meetings every Monday morning to talk about what we're doing, God super back, until it prays first. So unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. So prayer aligns our heart with God's direction, and then we can get into the action. But make sure you pray first. Share your conviction, not information. There's a phrase in the sales world that say, stories sell, facts tell, stories sell, right? It's not about the information. It's about your conviction. Another phrase is people will travel from miles away to watch somebody burn if they light themselves up. So get lit up, make a spectacle of it. Let them know how fired up you are about what it is that we're doing. You should be. What we're doing is amazing. Out of the outflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. Make sure it's done that way. People respond to authenticity, not memorization. You can sit here and have it all memorized, and that's all well and good, but that doesn't move anybody. The passion moves. Make sure you're lined up with that. And then trust God with the results. So many get so bent out of shape when they talk to somebody and they don't move immediately, or they don't join, or they get busy or anything else. Man, your job is done. One plants, another waters, but God gives the increase. 1 Corinthians 3:6. Obedience is our role. Do the steps. The outcome isn't up to you. Not your job to worry about that. Trust the process is another phrase for that. Do the thing, invite them, tell them to come see, have them take a look. They do or they don't. And if they don't, cool. And if they do, cool. Just do the thing that you're called to do. What are some of the barriers that you run into? Anybody experienced this before? Fear of rejection? That's your ego getting in the way. God has not given us a spirit of fear. Fear of inadequacy. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done one of these before. Look, his grace is sufficient for you. All things are possible through him. Don't need to be through you. You simply need to talk. And people will love the authenticity of that. They don't look for a polished speaker. They could care less. They want somebody that's real. So don't worry about that. Fear of conflict. Fear that someone's going to argue with you about something. Blessed are the peacemakers. Peace is not passivity. It's taking action. Don't worry about trying to overcome that. If anybody has a conflict on anything it is that we're offering, please send them to me. I will be happy to explain to them. I will be active when I do it. I will come with conviction and I will share, because what we do I have put this thing through the ringer so hard. You can stand behind it. You absolutely can stand behind what it is that we're doing and how it's been built. Some very, very smart people, not me, well beyond me, have put this together, have run it through what needs to be ran through for this to be in place to go. And we've got what we need. So do not fear that. Why consistency matters more than intensity. You ever heard of the term a flash in the pan? Bottle rockets? That's not what we're here for. God honors perseverance. Let us not grow weary in doing good. Galatians 6:9. Faithfulness over flash Whoever is faithful in little will be faithful in much. The payout starts at 50 cents. That's going to be the first amount that you're going to make. And I show a slide, and I'll show it today as well, on how that can be $1 million a month. You got to be faithful when it's 50 cents before you can be faithful at $1 million a month. And don't forget, if you're making $1 million, that means $10 million came into God Super PAC by your actions. How cool is that? Sustainable movements are built slowly and prayerfully. So vision casting, let's look ahead a little bit. We're planting trees we may never sit under. Others have labored, and you have entered into their labor. Legacy is built through obedience. The righteous leave an inheritance to their children's children. Did you guys know that the network that you build in God's Super PAC is willable to your family? What you're building, what you're getting started can be passed on and on and on. We're not doing this because it's an asset, but it is an asset. Take the talent that's being handed to you and go double, triple, quadruple, multiply it by 10 million if you want to. You have the ability to do it by following our simple steps of what we have. It's all there. Are you going to be there with it? Are you going to stick through? So the call to action, pray over one person God is placing on your heart. I didn't say you needed to go sponsor 10. Joanne sponsored 6. That's amazing. I want you all to go get one. Start there. Everybody in the organization gets one. We double our organization. Have one honest conversation this month. If you want to start somewhere, that's where you start. Do you eat the elephant all at once, or you take a bite first? Do you take that journey all at once, or do you take a step? One honest conversation this month. One faithful step. And then get out of the way. God's got this. Stop getting frustrated over it. It's so simple. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. We're not called to change everything. We're called to be faithful where we are. And if everybody will do that as an organization, as a form of a church, as everybody takes that step, the whole organization will become something that is such a powerhouse. And they will ask, when did you join? Oh my, you were at the beginning? You were in at the first month of this thing? The second, the third month of this thing when it fully launched? You are so blessed. That's what they're going to tell you at the conventions. As we have the first convention this year and the next one the year after that. And then maybe a couple of them the following year, because we can't fit everybody at one of them. We got to have a couple of them. I'm telling you, that's how it goes. I've been a part of organizations that have grown astronomically. I've been on covers of Success from Home magazine for building networks of that caliber. And it had nothing like we have here. It is 100% doable. You just got to do these things here. And that's where you start. Don't forget what we're here for. These are our focus areas. This is what we're here to knock out. I'll just let y'all look over those for a second. That's what we're here for. Don't forget that. And then along the way, how are we going to do that? I told you I was going to show you that slide where we make $1 million a month. You see that down there? And I'm rounding up. Like, let's just get rid of the 1,080,000. Let's just focus on the 2,556, that rounding error. Does $2,556 change anybody's day? That coming in every month? What happens when it's $82,550? What if it's $556 a month? Does that change anything for anybody? And then we put 2 commas in the check. Can you get your head there? How does that start? 12 people. How many did Jesus start with? Well, 13. One didn't work out so well. But with 12, what did he build? Start with 12. Start with 1. Work your way to 12. Everybody else gets 3. That happens a couple generations worth. And there's $1 million. But more importantly, there's $10.6 million coming in to be able to help towards these things from your actions. And what happens when others do the same thing? Well, Casey, that's 1 million people. Yeah, there's 210 million Christians in the United States. Can we go find 1 million of them? Can we find 12 of them? Can you find 1 in the remainder of the month? You got 2 weeks. Can you get one? If you already gotten one, that doesn't count. Starting tonight, can you get one? So go do so. And let's go do some good works. Because don't forget, with God, all things are possible. I'm going to end with any guests that are taking a look at this, and this gets you fired up, gets you excited. We want you to join us. We want you to become a warrior with us in God's Super PAC. We want you to pray, plan, and partner with other warriors in your area. And we want to win for his kingdom. That's what we're here to do. And then I'm going to finish with this. And I gladly reused from Tim Tebow's organization. I read this, I loved it, and I thought it really applied to us as well. Don't forget. Don't forget the moment God changed your life. Don't forget the moment he challenged you to join the fight. Don't forget that you have a specific role to play in bringing faith, hope, and love to a world in need. May you challenge others to remember, and not only remember, but to act, pray, serve, and give. That's what we're here to do. May you challenge them to take whatever skills and resources God has provided and use them to meet the needs of others. May we each remember that he loved us first and equipped and called us to love others. That's what we're here for. With that, I want to say thank you so much for joining us tonight. Nailed it at 45 minutes. I'm pretty proud of that. That worked out pretty good. And with that, folks, thank y'all so much for everything that you're doing for God's Super PAC, for so many people that are thanking us, and some that will never know where it came from, but know that you're doing some amazing works. Go out there, take action. Please, please take action. Go bring somebody to the organization. We've got 2 weeks left in this month. All of the work that we're doing in this month is going to go to the Tim Tebow Foundation. So let's go out there and make a difference, and let's see these numbers grow. With that, appreciate you all. Love you all. And God bless you. Have a great night.